Good morning, everyone. A good Erev Shabbos, and this will be our final shir in the world of Bitachon, and the Bitachon message from Parshas Vayeira today. What would be better for us to end off with than, of course, Akedas Yitzchak, when Avram Avinu was commanded by Hashem to take his son, his only son, the one that he loves, Yitzchak Avinu, the one that he spent 37 years with, giving over all of his Torah, all of his legacy. The entire message of the life of Avram Avinu is supposed to be lived through his son in the next generation. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him emphatically, you take this boy and you shecht him on the mountaintop, and that will be the end of your son. I don't care how much you love to do the chesed, and how kind you are and benevolent you are, and how you've been telling the entire world that Avodah Zarah and all of the strange things they do, for example, offering their children as sacrifices to their foreign gods. You told the whole world how ridiculous that is. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to live. L'chai behem v'lo yamus behem. He wants us to live and not to die in the mitzvahs. But Avram Avinu, I want you to take him up, put him on the altar, shecht him, and say goodbye to your son. And we know the story that Avram Avinu, in his tremendous depths of Amun and Bitachon, he is the quintessential Eved Hashem. He does the service of Hashem, whatever he is told and asked to do. He doesn't ask any questions. He is makabel. He accepts it as being the directive coming from HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, and he does it. And therefore he says, "Aye, aye, Captain, here we go." And he prepares the wood, and he prepares the fire, and he prepares his son to bring him up on the altar, and there's not even a delay in the hesitation. Like it says in the verse, Vayashkem Avram Ba'boiker. Avram Avinu got up early in the morning. You're getting up early in the morning to take your son, to say goodbye to him, to shecht him on the mountaintop? Yes, says the Torah. Avram Avinu didn't look at it any different than waking up in the morning to go to Shachris and put on tefillin. He didn't look at it any differently as he would wake up early in the morning on the day of his son's bris to make sure that he got up early. He went to the mikveh, he said all of his tefillahs, he davened to Hashem that this boy should have a beautiful life. The same exact Avram that got up early for Yitzchak's bris is the same Avram that got up early to take his son to the altar and say goodbye to him forever and shecht him. And therefore, once that Avram is in the moment and his hand is poised, pulled back, ready to shecht his son, and the angel calls out, Avram, Avram, he tells him, stop. Don't send your hand out to this child. Don't cause him 1 ounce of pain. Now I know, says the Rabbi Shalom, now I see how far-reaching your Amunah and your Bitachon is. If you are willing to do all of this without hesitation, without delay, without a single question on how could I do such a thing to you, the man who has promoted me for 100 years already, that you are the one that has been teaching the world about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, about the existence of Hashem, about the unity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world. You don't even ask a question. You submit yourself to my ratzon, to my will, and you do it be'amunah and bitachon. Ato yedati ki yir elokim ato. Now I know what great levels of yiras elokim, of the fear of God you are on, which is surging and coursing through your veins because of your tremendous wellsprings of amunah and bitachon. And what did it create? By Yisa Avram es Einav, Avram lifted his eyes, v'yar, and he saw the ayel acher nechaz besvach. He saw a ram whose horns were caught in the thickets behind him, and he took that as he recognized HaKadosh Baruch Hu was sending him a replacement, a korban, a replacement sacrifice, and he shechted the ram instead. And on that ram we live to this day. The horn is the horn that we use to remind us on Rosh Hashanah of the greatness of Hashem, and it's the horn that HaKadosh Baruch Hu used when he shattered the earth and the world, when the Torah was given at Sinai, and it reminds us of the horn that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to use when he will blow the eventual horn that will summons in the Bias Goya, the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu. So Avram Avinu, in the schus of his amunah, in the schus of his bitachon, and the merits of his Yiras Elokim, he created a salvation, not just for his son Yitzchak at that moment, but he created a salvation for all of history. He created a Matan Torah that the Torah will be given Har Sinai through the blasting of the shofar, and he created a salvation that when the world will get to a point where we can no longer go on the way that we are, at that last moment, just when you think that it's hopeless, just when you think there's nothing else that can be done, we will hear the take up the shofar gadol, we'll hear the blast of the great shofar that will summons in the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mheira v'yameinu. May we be zeicher that with our emunah and our bitachon that we have garnered after all of these months, and reminding ourselves we still have to grow, we still have to work on it. Perhaps you'll re-listen to many of the classes, perhaps you'll pick up another sefer, another book on bitachon, and you'll work on increasing the bitachon that is deep inside of our hearts, deep inside of our souls, and in our minds constantly, to make sure that we are people that we can say confidently that we are B'teach B'Hashem. We trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we rely upon HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we believe in Hashem, we listen to Hashem, we do His will, and we try to make our lives in congruence with what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants of us. And in that zechus, not only will we find favor in the eyes of Hashem for that life that we are living, a life of amunah and bitachon, but it will create the Yeshuas, it will create the salvations that each of us need in different areas of our lives. And in that merit, it will create the greatest salvation, the greatest Yeshua and Hatzal of all, and that is the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mheira v'yameinu. Amen. It's been a pleasure learning with you for this last year. Bitachon, with thanks to the great Brisker, the great Beis Halevi, who gave us the framework of being able to understand Bitachon on a new level. And Be'ezus Hashem Yisbarach Shemai, on Monday we are going to begin a new learning, and the drum roll please, we're going to be learning a very special sefer by the name of Pella Yoetz, and we will explain what that is. It is a magnificent book with many different topics, many different ideas, many different things for us to learn in the realm of Avodas Hashem, of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to become the well-rounded individuals that we would like to be, so that people can look at us and say, oh, there's an Eved Hashem, that's someone who understands how to serve Hashem in so many different areas of their life. So stay tuned, try to get yourself a copy if possible, the Pella Yoetz, and we will see you on Monday morning, Be'ezras Hashem. All the best.